Namaste. Welcome to Healthy You. On today's episode, I'm in Washington, D.C. at Elizabeth's Gone Raw restaurant, Washington's premier raw foods fine dining experience. Not only will we get a chance to sit down with owner Elizabeth Petty and hear her intimate journey towards recovery after being diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009, we'll also get a chance to go behind the scenes and meet the executive chef, Jonathan Sennigan. I can't wait to meet everyone and to get started. Follow me into the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen at Elizabeth's Gone Raw with executive chef Jonathan Sennigan. Jonathan, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to have you here.
I like to do the namaste. Namaste. That's how we always start in the kitchen. Namaste. I know we're going to have fun.
All right.
All right.
Well, today we're going to do a shredded beet and carrot salad out of the book by Sharon Gannon.
Yep. Simple recipes for joy. Yeah.
We're going to do one of her simple recipes, and we're going to present it here. It's going to be a little. We're going to do a recipe. We're going to do a little adaptation. And I'm going to walk you through it. A very simple recipe.
Right. So we start with the basics.
For joy.
And then you're going to like.
I might do that. Not exactly like that, but
kind of.
Okay, exactly
you
like
might.
that. I will do it exactly like that.
You know, whatever this is.
So the recipe calls for shredded carrots, shredded beets, walnuts, raisins, balsamic vinegar. We're going to use a little bit of white balsamic to dress the salad with, and then we're also going to use some balsamic for the plate. It also calls for a little salt, little pepper, extra virgin olive oil, and that's it. Very, very simple, very delicate.
All organic.
Always organic.
All right.
So we're going to put our carrots and our beets in a bowl, and then we're going to season them. The recipe calls for chopped walnuts, little chopped walnuts. It calls for raisins. I've got golden raisins and currants. You can use your imagination.
I was just about to ask. So if you have other types of raisins,
dehydrated raspberries, you could use freeze-dried strawberries. You could use dehydrated blueberries.
So you could different types of fruit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a wonderful thing about some of these recipes is they're very simple, and instead of being, kind of pigeonholed into following the recipe, use what you have. Trust your palate. Use your imagination. The guidelines that are put forth in this book are good basic guidelines. So, always trust your palate. Always use your imagination. So we're going to put a little salt. All right, we put our raisins, we put our walnuts. We're going to put a little bit of salt.
It's like a sea salt.
Yes. We're going to put in a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper, white balsamic. And of course you can use... How
much balsamic is that?
Enough to make it delicious.
Okay.
So a little bit, again, recipes...
you can improvise,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. And the recipe calls for, the exact measurement. I'm unsure. But put a little bit of splash. The white balsamic doesn't have quite the bite as a regular balsamic, and so it's a little bit sweeter. So we're going to put just a little touch more. It's fine. So what we're going to do then is we're just going to mix. Now that we've got the oil and vinegar and our our walnuts and raisins, we're going to mix them up separately so that they're seasoned and mixed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our beets.
All right, this is the part where
we're going to take our beets.
Yoga happens, the union.
We're going to take our beets and we're going to put them together with the carrots. We're going to put a little bit out on the plate, a nice little line.
And the nuts are optional. I was thinking, like, if someone has a nut allergy, you can always skip that.
Yeah, always take it out. Exactly. Right. I mean, if you're allergic to beets, use more carrots.
How pretty.
So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a little bit of balsamic vinegar, which I've reduced just a little bit so that we can use that as a paint for the plate. And then we're going to put a little bit of balsamic.
It is like you're painting.
We're going to put a little bit of balsamic on here, and then we're going to put a little bit of
that unexpected.
Exactly, the je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi, exactly.
We'll put a little bit of our beet reduction on the plate, and then we're going to garnish it. And we're going to garnish it with some beautiful heirloom rainbow carrots. We'll put a couple of red beets.
Oh, they are striped.
And then we can finish it with some...
Are those flowers?
Yes, of course. These are edible pansies. You can just garnish it with some flower petals.
Oh, how pretty.
And then a little bit of microgreens, some bull's blood, some micro arugula. And garnish it, and then we're going to call it a day. And this will be our salad.
Beautiful. And we get to try it later, right?
You do get to try it.
Yeah.
Actually, you can try it right now if you'd like.
Yeah, let me try.
Here's a fork.
Okay, that's it. I'm going in. You know, most people have no idea that there are this many varieties of carrots. What?
I believe it.
I mean,
don't you love when people take a bite of something and you're like, no, they don't like it.
No, this is amazing.
Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Okay, one more bite, and next we're going to actually go upstairs in the dining area and talk to Elizabeth Petty, the owner of Elizabeth's Gone Raw, and hear her story. Delicious. I'm at Elizabeth's Gone Raw in Washington, D.C., and I'm sitting with Elizabeth Petty, the owner of this magical place, and we're going to be discussing your journey on the road to recovery and wellness and basically changing your life, right?
Thank you.
Through food.
Yes, and thank you for allowing me, giving me the opportunity to speak about my journey.
Yeah, well, it's our pleasure. Let's start with the journey. How did this all come to be?
Well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago. 5 years ago in May, so I've made that big milestone. At which point I chose a conventional healing plan, more traditional and conventional.
Which is harsh and intense and
surgery, bilateral mastectomy, and then followed by 18 chemo treatments, 3 weeks of radiation, and then another infusion drug for about 18 months, and numerous surgeries after that. At any rate, after my first chemo treatment of adriamycin, which is a very rigorous drug, I realized that I needed to integrate something else into this healing plan, just given that I have a busy lifestyle and a son that I was raising and still am raising with my lovely husband. At any rate, I came across Chris Carr, who wrote Crazy Sexy Cancer, remarkable.
That's a fabulous book, and
yeah, she's a powerhouse, and what Chris has done for young women being diagnosed with uterine cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer, I mean, it just goes on and on. It's really extraordinary, and her message is so powerful that I was able to, take her knowledge, what her experience with cancer, stage 4 cancer, and integrate that into my lifestyle. At which point I stopped eating meat, dairy, fish, gluten, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and started drinking green juice with no fruit, which is very important for
I was
cancer.
just about to say.
Yeah, no fruit because of the high sugar content.
Right.
And then wheatgrass juice. Once I made this transition, I started to feel well, even during treatment, which was really remarkable. And I'll tell you something very interesting. When I had 3 weeks of radiation every day, weekdays, I had the weekends off, and it was a high dosage and very concentrated amount of radiation, and the doctors forewarned me that I would burn, and they prep you for that and prepare you for it, which is very important. And day 20 came around and I still hadn't burned, and I said to the radiologist, I said, I don't understand, I haven't burned. And they said, well, no, we don't understand. What are you doing?
Did they start asking you? Like,
they did, and different doctors were coming
doing?
in, and they said, are you using a different cream? And I said, no, I'm not using a cream. I said, it's my diet. I really, really believe it's my diet. So there's just so many benefits to this diet. I mean, it's really, really extraordinary.
See, so you were using food as medicine, right?
Absolutely, yes.
In fact, you spent some time, is it in Florida at the Hippocrates Center?
Hippocrates, yes. After I finished my radiation, I went, actually the day after the radiation, I went to Hippocrates and for the 3-week program, which is, it's mind, body, spirit. And it's so important that, food alone can't heal us. A lot of it is the it's the will to live. It's your positive thinking. It really is a combination of mind, body, and spirit, and whatever that spiritual part, however that speaks to you personally. It can be a particular religion, it can be a yoga practice, it can be meditation. Again, it's a really personal choice, but I believe that it's very important to integrate that into any kind of healing plan. So that I found very beneficial.
And it sounds like it's extended beyond just your own personal health. I've heard you speak about how, first and foremost, you were concerned with healing your body, but then on this journey, realizing all of the other variables, how we all can make a choice to improve the health and the well-being of others, of our planet, other people, the animals, all of that.
Right, right. The initial, when I was sick, and one thing that happens to cancer patients, it's a very common reaction, is that you make choices that are fear-based. And any time you make decisions that are based on fear, they're not always the best decisions.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you say, had I only known. If I had this information, then these are, perhaps I wouldn't have made this choice. And my recommendation to anyone, and it doesn't have to be cancer, it's any type of diagnosis, any kind of, physical ailment. I've even heard some theories that there's only one disease and it's manifested differently in all of us, which is a really, sort of an interesting concept.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. But it's important to really educate yourself and find out, what speaks to you, what method of healing speaks to you. If it's chemo and radiation and surgery, so be it, but believe in it, and believe that you're going to be well. That is personal, and I would never judge anyone. However, you don't want to look back 3 years later or 5 or whatever that might be and say, I feel like if I'd taken this path, I'd be in a different place. So it's important to calm yourself and think about it and meditate and process the information and say, it's not a death sentence. This is just a change in my journey. This is part of the person you are and who you're going to become. And so take that negative information and turn it into something really powerful and positive. And quite honestly, I feel blessed. I've heard you say that the cancer has transformed your life in so many ways for the better. Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have Elizabeth's Gone Raw, and the people that I meet at this restaurant. It's a different sensibility, a different consciousness, a really thoughtful approach to not only the choices that people make eating, but just, I think, the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you treat other people, and that kind of energy and mindfulness is what will change the world.
Yeah.
If we all start to treat each other that way. And when I was first diagnosed and I chose this lifestyle.
Because it is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
This is more than just, a diet, so to speak. This is a choice to consciously shift your perception of what food is. That food is a medicine, that food is a way of sharing and expressing compassion.
Right. Well, so the food then becomes, for me, it was a sort of a selfish decision in that I wanted to heal myself, and as time went on, it really became more spiritual. And I feel now that the spiritual side of this journey is equally powerful.
As just purely physical.
Yes, exactly. It really is. And it being a lifestyle, when you embrace or take something on like this, I think it's another thing that once you start to eat this way, you don't want to go back.
You don't want to go back.
People ask me all the time, don't you miss the meat? Don't you miss the sugar? Don't you miss? I don't. So rather than taking something away from your diet or from your lifestyle, I like to think, what am I giving myself? What have I been, now I've taken something on rather than what have I lost?
Right.
I haven't lost anything. I've just gained.
Because that comes up a lot, right? Yeah. People feel, or they probably ask you, do you feel deprived in any way?
Yes.
Yes. Are you eating raw exclusively, or are you?
No, I'm 100% vegan and no gluten. So, and so I don't eat the rice or the pastas or any of the flour-based pastas, of course. But I'm probably, some days I'm 100% raw, some days I'm 60% raw.
So if you were to go out and eat with the family or things like that, then there's some allowances.
Of course, or at home I'll bake a yam or make quinoa or lentils, with coconut oil and mint and cilantro and heirloom organic tomatoes, and really embrace and love and appreciate that cooked meal as much as I would the raw.
The raw.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so you can get really creative, and actually that would be a perfect opportunity to speak about what we were making in the kitchen with your executive chef, Jonathan.
With Jonathan.
Yeah, and that's what he was telling us. We used one of Sharon Gannon's Simple Recipes for Joy from her new vegan cookbook coming out, and then from there, just showing us the endless possibilities, making it Elizabeth's Gone Raw style, right? Where he added. Well, you tell us. You.
So let me just first say a little bit about the philosophy of the restaurant. I talked a lot about the inspiration, but then the philosophy is that I wanted to take raw vegan cuisine to a level that no one had ever experienced, and there's a lot of reasons for doing it, but one, I love food and I have a real passion for food, and sharing a meal with someone is such a beautiful, beautiful expression. But it's very important that people realize and start to educate themselves about the potential and the possibility of this type of cuisine, because there's so many myths and stereotypes around. It used to be vegetarian, where you were not an outcast, but it was odd to be vegetarian, and then that became somewhat mainstream and acceptable, and then vegans went through the same thing, and then raw vegans almost unheard of.
Right.
So that's just another tier. But by coming, I wanted to allow people to. Look at this plate. Look how beautiful this plate is. I don't know how meat would even fit on that. I don't see a place for it. I don't see a place for pasta or rice or anything like that. But for people to dine at the restaurant and really, rather than judging people or proselytizing about what you do, which I don't think will ever change anybody's thinking, right? You have to come to that decision on your own. So the best way to do it is to allow them to come into a restaurant with beautiful atmosphere, with the right lighting,
and
with lovely music.
With,
we wine and dine you and treat you and love you. We love you. We love everybody who comes in the restaurant. And that's what's so exciting, because we're so genuine about it. And then you leave here. And I didn't even mention the wine pairing. We have organic and biodynamic wine pairing. Phil Heiser is the sommelier and service director of Elizabeth's Gone Raw and the Catering Company of Washington. And when he pairs his wines with this food, it really is an extraordinary experience. And I think one that it's so unexpected. So the hope is that when you leave the restaurant, not only have you had a lovely experience and a different experience, but that you can take whatever information you gain from the experience and apply that personally to your life. So if that means, I didn't know I loved beets, and so now I can make a beet ravioli. I could make beet carpaccio, beet tartare. The list goes on and on and on, what you can do with the beet. I could say the same thing about carrots and about sprouts.
I didn't even know there were this many varieties of carrots.
There's, the heirloom carrots. It's like the grass. There's 9,000 different grasses. I could talk about wheatgrass and rye and barley grass all day long. That's another, just powerful, powerful food source, and it will continue to be as people learn, the benefits of the grass. But, so some people might leave and say, I don't want to give up meat. That's fine. Nobody's judging here, that's for sure. But what I might do?
Yeah, what advice do you usually give?
I might not eat meat every day, and think about that. 7 million people in the world not eating meat every day. That's unbelievable. 7 billion, excuse me.
Yeah,
I think
7
I said million. I think I said 7 million. 7 billion people not eating meat. Now, of course, that's not the case. 7 billion people don't eat meat every day. But the point being is that
what an impact.
What an impact. It's the small changes. It's walking out the door and turning to someone and saying, you have a beautiful smile. I love the shirt you're wearing today. Look at the tree. Look at the anything you can do to connect with other people and
to inspire them. I mean, I know that when I've come to dine here, it's been just so inspiring, you know, and I don't leave thinking, well, you know, I can never recreate this at home, so I'm just not going to try. No, I really, you know, think, wow, I should, you know, explore the grocery store more now, and you know, so you're inspiring people.
Thank you.
And it doesn't feel like a restriction, but it feels like a whole new lifestyle.
Well, Jonathan, it's really the kitchen. I feel like it's a perfect marriage because I'm coming from a philosophical, spiritual place, and the kitchen. My kitchen staff is really food-centric. That's what they do. That's what I'm paying them to do. And the combination works really well together. You know, I think that, and not to mention, you know, this menu changes every Friday night. So when people say,
that's one of my favorite parts.
How is it possible? How could you recreate it? I'm not recreating anything. The kitchen is. So they're just brilliant. And I'll hear them down there. I'll walk through the kitchen sometimes, and I hear them, you know, talking about what kind of nut cheese they're going to make. And the cheese, and I should tell you that the cheese on this plate today, it's actually inspired by Sharon Gannon's recipe. It's a carrot and beet salad with walnuts and olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt, and pepper. Very, very simple, very delicious. Chef Jonathan Sinnigan has taken it to another level where he, I think hers also has raisins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Jonathan has used many different varieties of heirloom carrots, beets, and then he served it with parsnip crackers and a ricotta cheese that's actually prepared with cashews that are fermented, which is now, it's a natural probiotic, which is great, all that good bacteria in your stomach. And then he used macadamia nuts actually for the texture. So he was looking for the flavor of the cashew and the texture of the macadamia. So it does get kind of complicated. He also, he did squeeze all of the juice out of the beet so that it wouldn't bleed on the rest of the plate, and then he used balsamic vinegar in with the beet juice to make this beautiful syrup on the plate. There's a smoked paprika oil. Again, he's trying to heighten your sensibilities, and to take, you know, the 5 ingredients here, and now we've got microgreens and the parsnip flavor, and we've got the ricotta and the balsamic and then the paprika. So it's really taking a simple concept, which is a delicious one, and now making it just vibrant and exciting.
What's next? Like, where do you see the whole journey for you evolve?
With the restaurant, or just
with the restaurant, with raw foods and the movement? I mean, I really feel like.
Well, I'll tell you, I would love to cater more raw events, and maybe not even raw, but even vegan. You know, and I will say one thing that's been another great opportunity is because of the restaurant. Now, when we cater events, we're able to incorporate vegan food or raw vegan food with the cooked, you know, meats and fishes, etc.
Are you seeing more requests for that?
Absolutely. There's a lot more requests. And one thing that's really fun, I think, is, you know, a bride and groom will come in and they'll say, the groom might say, you know what, I'm vegan. My wife is a beef eater or a fish eater or whatever that is. We're able to do both of them well, and we do them with love. We do the cook side as well, and that comes from the kitchen. Obviously, I'm not cooking the meat, but we have respect for that. You know, there is respect, and so much of the food is organic. At the restaurant, it's not 100% organic. There might be an herb that we couldn't get that was, you know, that we needed in the dish that's not organic. All of the we do all of our own sprouting. All of the sprouts are, with the exception of the sunflower sprouts from New Day Farms. You know, so I see that there's going to be a push towards, or a movement, if you like, maybe not a movement, but I think as people continue to educate themselves, they're going to realize that not only is this food delicious, but it's just so good for you. And it's so good for the planet. And it's, I mean, the ethical treatment of animals, it's just time.
It's a win-win, you know, yeah, it is time.
Win-win. There's nothing negative.
Let's try. Can I try
Please, no, yeah, this is the plate you want to hear. Take it. So try the ricotta. Get a little bit of the balsamic, because you know it has a sweetness in the. So, and then you'll see
the paprika. That's what I didn't try.
Yeah, try the paprika oil, because now you've got a little bit of heat, and then you have a little bit of the sweetness from the balsamic, and then he put the beet juice, which is a lot of sugar. there's a lot of sugar in the beet. Fun, huh?
And
then
what
the
are
texture
those?
of the crackers. These are parsnip
Oh,
crackers.
those are the parsnip crackers.
These are parsnip crackers that we serve with the beet tartare.
And that's
As well
perfect for gluten-free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No gluten in this. Have you had it? Try one of the crackers.
Yeah. It's really been a joy to be here with Elizabeth Petty at Elizabeth's Gone Raw in Washington, D.C. I feel that I've learned so much.
Thank you, Valerie.
And just sharing with you this personal experience.
No.
And I think it's important just to also say, we don't have to wait to get a diagnosis and go through what you went through
Right.
to start making the
Right.
change.
Thank you,
You
Valerie.
know,
That's very important.
Start today if you feel
Yeah.
inspired. Get creative and have fun.
Yeah. Drink lots of water.
Drink lots of water. like we
Ionized
said.
water.
Elizabeth, if people want to find out more about the restaurant and the catering company, where
Go
should
to
they
our
go?
website, thecateringco.com, TheCateringco.com. You can also go to Elizabeth's Gone Raw, or just do it. Even if you if you forget this, do a search, Google search for Washington D.C. Raw Vegan Restaurant, and it'll.
And there you
yeah,
are.
it is.
You also have
It'll
a
take you
Facebook
there.
page for.
We have a Facebook page, and we also you can find all the catering information on the website as well. And if you're interested in dining at Elizabeth's, you need to make reservations. So
That's right.
Friday
because
nights from 6 to 9:30.
More and more
For
raw
reservations.
vegan foodies
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you
Very
want,
grateful.
more information on the Healthy You show, you can go to our website or even the Buddha Bee Yoga Center, Washington D.C.'s Proud to Be Vegan community, and our Facebook page, or follow us on Twitter. So until we meet again, simple recipes for joy at Elizabeth's Gone Raw. Namaste.